Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and it's time for your Raw review. So, the funny thing is I look, there's a whole bunch of shit written down here, a bunch of notes, but nothing really happens. Everything that was going to happen happened at the beginning of the show. So, if you want to see what happened, you might as well just watch the first 10 minutes, and that's it. Turn the show fucking off because nothing else really happened after that. So we've got Heyman and Brock, and this is the thing that I've said time and time again. Why? And even Vince Russo had suggested this, showing that the guy is the only one who's fucking thinking here in the IWC. The only one who's a part of the community that's actually saying what I've been saying for years, how they need to do things differently. They need to think outside the box because it's the same thing over and fucking over again. I'm looking at the screen. To my left is Lesnar. To my right is Paul Heyman. And it's the same spiel over and over. You're not going to be able to beat the Beast because the Beast is a lot different than normal wrestlers. And, and to just put in perspective, they're always standing in the same positions, right? From my perspective, Lesnar's always on the left and Heyman's always on the right. It's like some OCD shit. If they don't do things exactly the same way to a cookie cutter, perfection, then the whole show is going to go wrong. Except the whole show always does go wrong! It's incredible that they don't want to try anything different. The thing Russo said is, what if Brock attacks Heyman and he's just unleashed and unchained? We all saw, go back in 2003, Lesnar knows how to cut promos. It's there on the network. Go watch him. The guy's not brilliant. He's not great, but he's good enough to cut his own promos. It's better than having Heyman repeat himself over and over again. And I think back, when Paul Heyman used to repeat himself after, The Undertaker thing. Remember how many times for months and months, he kept on saying 21-1, 21-1, 21. I was like, shut the fuck up, you fat bastard! I remember when I couldn't wait for Paul Heyman to cut a promo. Remember Heyman on commentary back in 2001? I missed JR, but I was like, Heyman was fucking great. He was great. The King. I missed the King. It was JR and Heyman. But the thing was, it was like, when the King came back, I was almost upset, too, to see Heyman go away, because Heyman was so good on commentary. JR and Heyman had great chemistry as well. Maybe it wasn't as great as the King and JR, but he was great. Anyway, Joe comes out, and they brawl. And, it's good. Like, this is what you kind of wish you could see more and more of. Now, you could say, you could use the Paul Heyman excuse. I mean, the Vince McMahon excuse that it won't feel special if they always do this. But the thing is, they, never do this. And there's also ways of going about it in a different way. You could have parking lot brawls. You could have more backstage brawls. You could have locker room brawls. You could have brawls in restaurants, brawls in the bathroom, brawls in catering. You could have brawls anywhere you want. So, don't tell me that it's going to get old too quickly. This is what the excuse was with a host of others, like why Sting wasn't showing up that much when he was there throughout his run with the company. We don't want people to get sick of it. No, motherfucker! You take that person and you milk him for all he's worth when he's there. You try to get every last dime out of him. Don't use the excuse, people are going to get sick of it. Newsflash, people are already sick of your fucking product. So go with the brawls. Show more of Lesnar. Pay the motherfucker more. It's not exactly like Vince's strap. They always like to say, oh, the Attitude Era doesn't matter because we're still making money. Oh, you're making money? This is the thing what's incredible. WWE should not be booking and having segments that are so archaic to the point where TNA, a company that lost millions and millions of dollars, that they still have put out a better showcase with the delete segments of Matt and Jeff Hardy, the final deletion, you know, and Deleter Decay, all these great segments, and this is a company that was losing money at the time, losing money. And on the other hand, you got a company that's making money. They might not be doing great in the ratings, but they say that they are making money. So why are they always making things so simplistic all the time? I mean, there's so much that these guys could do, so much that these guys could film and use in segments to make this product exciting and eye-catching, like it was back in the day. Remember when they used to show like the APA and they were at a bar and shit, or McMahon and Stone Cold at a bar, and Vince McMahon, remember during the Invasion angle, he went to go look for Austin at the bar. I mean, this shit, that's the type of shit that makes wrestling more exciting. Remember when they went to a mortuary and The Undertaker was going to and bombed Stone Cold and Kane came to save him? I mean, you went to different locations. You know, they went away from the wrestling ring, went away from not just the backstage area. The only thing you get to see backstage anymore is that same place where the interviewer stands, you know, and it's the same fucking background, the same background that says Raw in the background. They're just standing there. Let me ask you a question. You know, it's like, it's unbearable. They can't try anything new. It's almost like they're incapable of trying something new. Is it McMahon? What is it? Is it Stephanie? Who doesn't want to try anything new? But I digress. I mean, I don't understand why they can't do this shit more often. It was a good segment. It was. Now, Joe is obviously a fat boy. We all know this. But, you know, I'm not going to really rag on him here. It looked good. The graphic of Joe and Brock face-to-face look good. So I will say that. The YWC still hates my fucking guts. But, hey, you can't win them all, right? Can't win them all. Especially when you're still the undefeated, unbeatable YWC champion. Yes, that's right, folks. I haven't broken out the belt in a while, so it's about time that I put the belt back on my shoulder once again to remind everybody. Because just because the belt is not featured in the video doesn't mean I lost my title. There was that one moment when my dog pinned me, but it was off the record. It was just an exhibit. You know, I cried for days and days. You know, that there was a period probably where I didn't make some videos for a couple of days. It's because I was playing with my dog on the floor and I accidentally rolled onto my back and my dog took her paws and put them on my shoulders. I couldn't get up, you know, especially because she's fucking fat and I couldn't get her off me. But my shoulders were down. And so, you know, that technically was a victory for my dog. So, but surely enough, I bashed her in the face with my belt. And then I rolled her over onto her back. And I pinned her. And then I got my belt back. So that was good. That made me feel good about myself. You know, I told my dog I was sorry for pinning her. You could kind of hear her in the background barking because I'm looking out my window and another dog is passing by. But at least I don't have to worry about that dog pinning my shoulders to the floor. But little story there, little anecdote, and that was probably more entertaining than what's about to follow. Because, you know, this opening segment, it was pretty good. I got to say, it wasn't bad. And Fat Boy Joe didn't look half bad in this segment, I have to say. So then we go to our first match. It's Elias Samson defeating Dean Ambrose. There was some shenanigans with The Miz. And I'm reading Wade Keller here. He's complaining like a little bitch, saying, "Oh, Samson, he's we can't tell that he's how good he is by the way how he won because there was too many distractions, too many. Wow, there's too many distractions. Shut up!" Fucking Wade Keller wants every match to be strict and to the point. There's gotta be, 30 moves for each guy so they both look good in the ring and everything. Doesn't give a fuck about character development. All he cares about is getting a good match. As long as it looks like fucking Japan. As long as as the match is reminiscent of New Japan. Just like his buddy Meltzer Magoo, right? As long as the match is boring as fuck and, a normal match with nothing happening. That's what he wants. He wants a normal match with nothing happening, nothing going on the outside, nothing out of the ordinary. Keller cries like a little bitch when they do House of Horrors. "Oh, it's too different for me. I don't like it." Shut the fuck up already. I mean, do you hear these fucking adults, people in their fucking 40s and Meltzer in his fucking 50s, about to be 60 soon? They're complaining about wrestling, thinking outside the box. The few times that it actually does think outside the box, they fucking complain about it. They complain that WWE's... Because you know why they complain about WWE? Not because of the same things that, people would normally complain about it. But the same reason the IW's, "Not enough 5-star matches, guys." We got to have 5-star matches littered throughout the card. It's got to be Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn in a fucking hour and 20-minute Iron Man match. I mean, how you book a good show for Dave Meltzer Magoo? You put Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura in a 3-hour Iron Man. 3 hours. Fill up the whole thing. Doesn't matter if there's commercial breaks or anything. They're always going to complain about the commercial breaks as well. I agree that there shouldn't be commercial breaks during matches. But they're going to complain because if there's one, time that they can't see Sami Zayn's love handles, that's when everything just hits the fan. That's points off automatically. Can't see the love handles. The match is no good. So Samson gets the win with the neck breaker here. Goldust cuts a promo. I like this return to his character, but it's like, again, it's the same thing as last week. Are we going anywhere? We haven't seen Goldust and R-Truth since the beatdown. They haven't physically appeared. They've just been in these little vignettes and very claustrophobic setting. I don't know. It's like, wouldn't it be better if they had Goldust in a different location? Like I'm saying, something different. Like maybe he could actually go to a Hollywood, old school Hollywood backlot. Imagine he'll like walk around the warehouse and like reminisce. Here's some fucking ideas, Feel free to use them. They're not trademarked. I'm just saying. Just look at how I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head. I didn't even think about that during the show. Just something to make it a little bit different than the same thing you've shown for the past fucking 3 weeks. And it's, and this is just like one beatdown they're talking about. It's like there hasn't even been any interaction between these two. They haven't even been face-to-face since the incident. Up next, we're getting a little video package of Cedric Alexander. Who gives a fuck? Who seriously gives a fuck? Hey, guys, he does a somersault plancha. Yeah, the fucking past 2 Universal Champions did somersault planches. Even fucking Kevin Owens could flip his fucking fat ass in midair. So why the fuck do I care if Cedric Alexander could do a flip? It's not news to us. Listen, You know, when it was in WCW, nobody else did those moves. Lex Luger wasn't doing 450s, but now you've got AJ Styles, who was a WWE champion, doing springboard 450s. So, you know, it was different back in the day, so it had its charm, it had its place on the card. But this shit, these are just smaller guys that are doing moves that bigger guys are doing, more star-studded guys are doing. So if Kevin Owens, who's a fucking fat ass, who's, you know, 2 or 3 times bigger than these cruiserweights, why the fuck do I watch the cruiserweights then? The only cruiserweights who I give a fuck about are Austin Aries and Neville. Because those guys, they actually have a look to them. Especially Neville. And I'm going to get to him a little bit later on. So we had Noam Dar, Noam Chomsky. Who the fuck is this? You know, you listen to the name. Noam Dar. Noam Dar. You think of Noam Dar. What kind of a name is Noam Dar? Do you really think that a name like Noam Dar, this is a guy that's going to go places in life? Do you really think that, you know, like, there's a reason why Noam Chomsky's called Noam Chomsky? Because this guy knows that, he's pretty much going to do in life. He's not going to be a big fucking star, you know. He's going to write a couple of books. He's going to be a professor, you know. We all know, but to have a wrestler called Noam Dar, which is an even worse name, Dar, Noam Dar, what the fuck is that? That is not a wrestler. That's not something that's going to, right from the start, if you don't have a good name, just fucking stop right there and go back to the drawing board. Because if you already have a shitty fucking name, you're not going to go places. It's pretty fucking obvious. Just, you know, like, change, you know, McMahon's always obsessed with changing names. He changed Bryan Danielson to Daniel Bryan, which, you know, I guess it was an okay change. But the thing is, it's like, you know, you're just kind of changing names for the hell of it. The guy likes to take away last names, first names, whatever the fuck it might be. So why did he let Noam Dar? Why let this name go? So he comes out to the ring. He's FaceTiming with Alicia Fox, and this is probably the most annoying, ear-bleeding segment I've ever heard in my fucking life. Let me see it, man! Shut up! There's enough things that are annoying going on with the way this show is booked, and the lack of storylines and the lack of character development. And then we have to sit here listening to shit like that. This is what I'm saying. Remember, Heyman was repeating himself over and over, and I was like, why the hell is that acceptable? Why do they say this is an okay promo to do? Well, why did they think, even though this lasted for 3 minutes, why would anybody want to listen to Alicia Fox scream at the top of her fucking lungs like a moron, and they put it up on the Titantron? Cedric Alexander gets the win in a minute. Like, there's so much not to like here. First of all, you've got guys with no personality here. You know, they're attempting to give Cedric... Okay, I will say that. They're attempting to give a little something extra here to Noam Dar, right? They're trying to give him a little something extra here, right? Give him a girlfriend, have them bicker, make her obsessive. Okay, all right, but the thing is, you're not giving Noam Dar any personality. Who is this guy? Besides having a shitty name and a fucking annoying-ass girlfriend, what the fuck is he? Where is he going to go? Where is he? Where is this feud going to go with? If you don't watch 205 Live, they also don't do a very good job of explaining that. Remember, like, Noam Dar, I think he took Alicia Fox away from Cedric Alexander or something. I don't fucking know. Or was it Rich Swann? Or maybe, what a fucking whore. She's been with all the fucking cruiserweights. Remember back in the day when the female wrestlers used to be whores like Kelly and Melina? At least they got with the guys that actually looked like real fucking men, like Batista and John Cena and the rest of them. Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins with an in-ring promo. You know, Bray sounded good here. The material sounded good. But here's the thing. Once again, I need to ask, where are these guys going? They're wrestling for the IC title one week, wrestling for the world title the next week. And, you know, it's like I can't help but feel that this is a guy. We've got a guy here in Bray Wyatt who is just the champion, who was involved in a great segment, the House of Horrors. You know, a match that actually did tell a story, a match that actually was pretty captivating, that it was different, it was outside the box, and now it's back to just Bray Wyatt cutting his, you know, typical promo. This is what I keep saying. These guys are stagnant. It's like they rush to have something to do for them each week. You know, this guy's going to have a promo, or Noam Dar is going to argue with Fox on the phone, and then that's it. And Jeff explained it really well in the Vince Russo podcast. Nobody, like, shows up again on this show. We see Joe with a promo later on in the night. But there's no storylines strung throughout the show. It's like Noam Dar, gone. They would give him a match. He's gone for the night. Brock Lesnar, nowhere to be found. Like, nowhere to be found. Like, during the promo with Joe, which I'll get to later, why wasn't there another brawl? Why didn't he interrupt it? They should have been animalistic. They really should have driven the point home that these guys are going to fuck each other up at Great Balls of Fire. You know, we're still just like, it's by the numbers, basically, week after week. These guys, they just, you know, they disappear for the night. They do one segment, and there's, you know, where's the show should be littered with the big stars. When The Rock was there, and Stone Cold and all the others, they were there throughout the night, and they were not going to be silenced just because they already had a segment. That shit is not going to fly. I mean, seriously, you've got to get these guys on the show more, and you've got to make them a firm presence. You got to be like, these are the big stars, and they're going to be here throughout the night, and they're not done yet. And you have to tell a fucking story, for God fucking sakes. Cena will be returning to SmackDown July 4th. Thank fucking God. This is the thing why I said, guys, why my perspective had changed on wrestling. All it took was a bunch of Mama Lukes like Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander and all these other worthless guys coming in here, like, and especially Finn Balor. And you guys got to admit, when Finn Balor showed up, my perspective changed big time. I was like, no, this is not happening. We are not having Finn Balor here in this company looking the way he looks, acting the way that he acts. We're not, and this is why I was like, at least John Cena has a look. At least John Cena has a personality. At least John Cena can talk on the fucking mic and cut a decent promo. Now, were some of his promos childish? Was there some retarded shit with Cena? Of course. Just like everybody else, there was retarded shit with just about everybody. But at least this guy has credibility. At least I look at Cena and I know he's a wrestler. At least I don't look at him and I'm like, what a fucking joke. At least I could have some respect when looking at John Cena and not want to fucking facepalm, shaking my head, crying my eyes out that one of my favorite pastimes of wrestling has become a mockery of its former self. Apollo Crews defeated Kalisto. Titus O'Neil was a little bit funny here with Akira Torizama, whatever the fuck his name is, jerking him around, you know, like he was a rag doll, trying to get him in position for a selfie. But, you know, once again, I don't feel like we're getting anything out of this. I don't really feel like, you know, this is going anywhere. From week to week, it's like 2 minutes of Titus O'Neil. Now, we all know this guy's got a big personality, but they haven't let him speak for weeks. Or nothing substantial anyway. They're trying to tell a story, and they're trying to, like, mime it out for you, which is, you know, good, because they do say actions speak louder than words. But, you know, like, you feel like this is not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. Titus has a match. He loses. Apollo Crews is supposed to be the student, but he wins against the same opponent that Titus lost to last week, I think it was. Can't even remember. It's not even worth remembering. So it's cute, right? Because the student actually is doing better than the teacher. Yeah, it's real clever. Next up, we've got a Diva segment, which is just as cookie cutter as the SmackDown segment. They finally remembered that Mickie James was a big star back in the day, so they let her talk a little more. Everybody fucking talks here. Why would Alexa Bliss let what's her name, Sasha Banks, put her fucking arm around her, you know, and get that close to attack her? I mean, like, why would Alexa Bliss, this vicious little girl that attacked Bayley with a kendo stick, why would she let this goofball with the weird hair come so close to her? It should have been Bliss knocking her ass out. You know, it's the same cookie cutter shit. I'm gonna beat you, Alexa. You know, and it's always Alexa Bliss with the better material. Always, you know, making Mickie look like the has-been and everything. They need, you know, I think it's just that Bliss is ad-libbing here, you know, because she does a good job and everybody else has, like, no material to go on here. And then you have the big six-man match. You've got Banks, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke defeating Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, and Emma. Emma comes back. She's like, Emma's back, and no one gives a shit. You know, they've totally disgraced this girl after the whole Emelina thing, wasting months and months on that. They did like 6 months, I remember, of when I wasn't doing Raw reviews. That they just had Emma just cutting these promos, and then she comes out and debuts and says she's going back to Emma. And then we don't see Emma for weeks after that. Then she does segments with Dana Brooke backstage, disappears again. So now she's back again. Who the fuck gives a fuck anymore? It's like no one, first of all, nobody cared about Emma in the first place. She's an okay women's wrestler. She's hot, but no one's really going to care in a wrestling setting. See, here's the fucking thing. It's just no one's going to fucking care. You've got a bunch of mamalukes in the audience. Sasha, Sasha, Sasha. When Sasha has proven that she is just as one-dimensional as somebody like Samoa Joe. Besides doing this with her fucking knuckle things, there's nothing about doing this shit like some type of weird JBL shit, you know, except moving your hips. There's nothing to Sasha Banks. She doesn't have a personality. She really doesn't. If you're going to argue the point, I know people will be like, but she's the boss, Brad. Well, she's the boss. The boss of what? The boss of your cock? You fucking cuck. No, I'm not going to go there. But the thing is, what the fuck is the appeal I'm seeing with Sasha? Besides her being a decent enough wrestler, really at the end of the day, it's like you could clearly see they don't know what the fuck to do with these women. Nia Jax should be dominating this whole division. That's not to say that Alexa Bliss still couldn't be there as a good champion. I love Alexa Bliss. I have to say it. This girl has a lot of charisma, and she proved a lot to me since coming over to Raw. This girl has taken shit segments like This Is Your Life and turned them into decent segments, which is not a very easy task, to say the least. I mean, she really goes above and beyond. The girl really tries, and that's all you could really ask for. She tries. She definitely ad-libs a lot. She knows how to work a mic. She knows how to work a dick, too. And I'm just kidding. But she knows how to fucking work a mic. But really, the fact that they can't figure out what to do with Nia Jax is pretty sad. And I think the reason why they can't figure out to do it now, because I think they're afraid of her crushing the other girls and, you know, burying them. But when you have somebody that looks like Nia Jax, you know, you want to really make her a big threat, because that will get eyes because on the division, because people will be like, who the fuck is this massive girl? And she's, you know, she's pretty, she could be dominant, but they, you know, that's what they do. They eliminate her out of the match. She falls through the ropes like a goofball, and that's about it. Now we're supposed to take Sasha seriously again. She's hanging out with cruiserweights at the pay-per-view, but now all of a sudden she's a serious contender for the title again. Like, wow. You know, we're jumping around here. Bayley sits down with Corey Graves in the boring-ass interview. Nothing has changed with Bayley. She's going to be who she is. She asked for a hug from Graves. It's an awkward hug. You know, I don't get this character. Besides it, you know, being appealing to children, the adults who mostly watch this show, no one is going, you know, except the weirdos in the audience. Oh, I'm a hugger. Oh. You know, no one is going to be appealed by Bayley. You've got the weirdos out there who think Bayley is hot. If you're attracted to Bayley when she's looking like a fucking, you know, what's the term when a woman looks like a kid? You know, it's called a man child when you're a man, but whatever it is, it's a woman child. It's embarrassing, to say the least, that these people are getting hard-ons for a girl with a side ponytail and a colorful outfit. I mean, that right there is fucking weirdo-ville. That's creepy as fuck. Slater and Rhino beat The Miz and the Bear. The Bear from last week returns. The Miz is paranoid about the Bear. He beats up the Bear, and you've got Miz ripping off the head, and it's not, again, just like last week, it's not Ambrose. But then another Bear comes out, and it is Ambrose. This one was Ambrose! Ah! I'm retired! I will give this to Keller. People are watching basketball, a real fucking sport. And people are supposed to switch over to a fucking show where a guy is dressed up as a fucking bear? Hey, boo-boo! No! This is not going to work. When I asked for character and something outside the box, dressing up as a bear is not one of them. See, when they do try to, you know, be creative, this is what they come up with. Fucking Bosco or Bobo. What was the name of the bear from Evil Carne? Mr. Bobo, whatever the fuck it was that, you know. I mean, come on. What the hell are we doing here with fucking bears? So, Ambrose sneaks up from behind him. And it's almost like in these segments, it's like whenever somebody turns around and gets kicked by Ambrose, they're going to get the dirty deeds. There's no way of countering this move at all. And then he puts Slater on top of Miz. Hey, wow, how creative are we getting here? Ambrose sneaks up behind Miz again. And again, what I said, it goes nowhere. It's going around in circles. Ambrose has already been a champion, and now he's desperate to get the IC title back. I mean, like, back in the day when guys had championships, they were big players. They weren't dressing up as fucking bears. Can you imagine if Stone Cold dressed up as a bear after losing the world title? Stone Cold Bear Austin? It just wouldn't happen. Neville beats up Rich Swann before their match. Fuck Rich Swann. It's all about Neville. And where's Austin Aries? He just disappears. I don't get it. Hey, where was TJP, TJ Nurkins? Thank God he wasn't there this week. But anyway, he's on to Rich Swann. He beats the shit out of him. This is just proving that Neville shouldn't even be anywhere near the fucking cruiserweights. Like I said, if Seth Rollins and if FATBOY Balor, if all of them could be in the world title scene, why can't a guy like Neville, who looks 10 times better than them? I mean, does anybody even like look at Neville and realize that this guy is jacked beyond belief? You had guys in the Attitude Era who were like 6 foot something who weren't even this massive as Neville. What the fuck is he doing hanging around guys that look like TJP and Rich Swann, guys that look like fucking jobber nobodies? Put this guy, I'm not saying you have to give him the world title, but at least, you know, make this guy a bigger deal. I mean, not only is he really athletic, but you also see that this guy doesn't exactly have to fly to really, you know, be able to turn heads. You just got to put him in a position to turn heads. And as long as he's in the cruiserweight division, no one's going to give a fuck about a guy that could potentially be something special. Cass gets beat up backstage again. I'm not even talking about this. This just keeps going on and on. You know, in the background, you could see the Revival back there. Oh, was it them again? Where's the mystery? And you know, I don't know if I missed it, but was there any mention of the Kurt Angle thing again? You know, the mystery about Kurt Angle's career, or did they already give up on that one already? So Cass tries to wrestle anyway. Anderson and Gallows, New Japan Saviors, the best thing since sliced bread. That's the tag team name. I think I'm just going to start referring to them to the best things since sliced bread. Right? That's what we got right there. That's the new name. Not Gallows and Anderson. No, the best things since sliced bread. There you go. They beat Enzo and Cass. And then Big Show comes out to save them. Truth cuts a promo. It's the same thing. Say a line from a movie. Okay, we get it. You know, basically, where's this feud going besides movie quotes and constant vignettes week after week? Joe cuts the promo backstage. They miss an opportunity for Brock to attack him. Why does Brock Lesnar disappear? When they pay him, don't they pay him for the whole show, or are they just paying him based on the minute? Is it like $1 million a minute? What the fuck is the fucking rate here? Because, like, why does it end right there? Why is Joe able to cut this promo and just walk away right after it? You know, Joe cutting the cookie cutter promo makes it feel like any other Joe match. You know, I'm gonna choke him out! And that's it. You know, like, there should be another brawl backstage. He should be brawling, should be tossing their heads through car windows. I mean, for fuck's sakes, do some shit that's appealing, that's different, to really drive the point home that this is going to be a different kind of match. This isn't going to be your flippity flop nonsense with FATBOY Balor and FATBOY. You know, if the fat fuckface Kevin Owens, it's going to be different than that. But drive the point home, for God's sakes. Don't you pay him for the night? Why does he disappear? And where's Brock's post promo? How come he doesn't have one? Sheamus and Cesaro wrestle the Hardys in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It ends in a count out. I don't know. Like, where is this going? They're not doing the broken gimmick. It still feels like the Hardys are just another tag team on the roster. And we're going out with tag titles. This is the main event. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, you guys know that I like all of these guys. I like Cesaro. I like Sheamus. And I said, like, in Extreme Rules, their match was the best thing on the show. It was the most eye-catching. It was the most entertaining, the most exciting by far. And instead, you know, like, but there was nothing in the main event with Brock. Like, they should have went off the air with another big brawl or some shit. But instead, just let's have a match. You know, I don't know what to say here, guys. Like, they start off strong, but they have, like, nothing else to show for it. It's like, well, we did the brawl. We did what we had to do with the world title match. So now, whoop, let's go back to your regularly scheduled program of no-wham dars. And also, there was no fuckboy Balor to be seen. This is the other thing. Like, 2 weeks in a row, is the guy injured, or they just can't figure out how to write him into the show? Not that I'm complaining, but I'm just saying, like, where's your big star? Where's your big star fuckboy Balor? I don't see him. You know, you make a big deal about this guy on, like, the 24 program. This guy tried really hard. By the way, guys, he worked in Japan. I know, right? He was in Japan. It's amazing. Whoa! He worked in Japan. He worked in Japan, guys! Ah! You know, like, fake excitement for that. He's a New Japan guy. That automatically certifies him as one of the greatest in the world. But the thing is, it's like, where is he? They can't even book him on a 3-hour fucking show? Nowhere to be found? You've got all this time to work with, and you can't even write the motherfucker into the fucking show. That's pretty fucking sad. You can't find a single minute to dedicate to one of your big stars? What a fucking joke. All right, motherfuckers. Boring ass show. Until next time.